The sun peeked through the kitchen window, casting a warm glow over the countertop, where a bread machine sat, waiting for its next culinary adventure. It was a Saturday morning, the perfect time to indulge in a little homemade magic. Today, the goal was to recreate the beloved Auntie Anne's pretzel bites, those soft, salty morsels that seem to melt in your mouth. With a few simple ingredients and a little patience, the dream of warm, fresh pretzel bites was within reach. The first step was gathering the ingredients. The list was straightforward, yet each item promised to contribute to the delightful experience. The pantry was raided, and soon the countertop was adorned with 1 cup of warm water, about 110 degrees. 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. 2 teaspoons of salt. 2 1/4 teaspoons of active dry yeast, 1 packet. 3 cups of all-purpose flour. 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, melted. 1/4 cup of baking soda for the boiling solution. Coarse sea salt for sprinkling. 1 large egg for egg wash. With everything in place, the process could begin. The first step was to activate the yeast. In a small bowl, the warm water was combined with the sugar and salt, stirring gently until they dissolved. Then, the yeast was sprinkled on top and left to sit for about 5 minutes. It was a brief moment of anticipation, watching the yeast bloom and froth, transforming the water into a bubbly potion that would help the dough rise. While the yeast was working its magic, the bread machine was prepared. The pan was removed, and the melted butter was poured in first, followed by the foamy yeast mixture. Next came the flour, added carefully to form a barrier over the wet ingredients. It was essential to keep the yeast from coming into direct contact with the salt until the dough was mixed, as salt could inhibit its growth. Finally, the remaining salt was sprinkled on top of the flour. With the ingredients in the pan, it was time to set the bread machine. The dough setting was selected, and the machine was turned on. The rhythmic whirring of the machine provided a comforting backdrop as it kneaded the ingredients together, transforming them into a soft, elastic dough. This part of the process required no effort on the cook's part, allowing for a moment of relaxation. As the machine worked, the aroma of the melting butter began to waft through the kitchen, hinting at the deliciousness to come. After about an hour, the machine beeped, signaling that the dough had risen to perfection. The pan was removed, and the dough was gently punched down, releasing the air that had built up during the fermentation process. It was a satisfying motion, feeling the warmth and softness of the dough, which now had a beautiful, smooth texture. Next, the dough was turned out onto a lightly floured surface. It was time to shape the pretzel bites. The dough was divided into 4 equal portions, each rolled into a long rope about 1/2 inch thick. The ropes were then cut into bite-sized pieces, each roughly 1 inch long. The sight of the little dough pieces, ready to be transformed, brought a smile. Now came the fun part. A large pot of water was brought to a boil, and the baking soda was carefully added. This step was crucial. The baking soda bath would give the pretzel bites their signature flavor and glossy finish. One by one, the dough pieces were gently dropped into the boiling water, cooking for about 30 seconds on each side. As they floated to the top, they took on a beautiful golden hue, promising a delightful texture. Once boiled, the pretzel bites were removed with a slotted spoon and placed on a parchment-lined baking sheet. They were spaced out to ensure they had room to expand in the oven. An egg was whisked in a small bowl, and a brush was used to coat each pretzel bite with the egg wash. This step not only added color, but also helped the coarse sea salt adhere to the surface. A generous sprinkle of salt followed, adding that essential savory touch. The oven was preheated to 425 degrees, and the baking sheet was placed inside, filling the kitchen with the enticing aroma of baking bread. The pretzel bites would need about 12 to 15 minutes to achieve that perfect golden brown color. As they baked, the anticipation grew, and the kitchen transformed into a cozy haven of warmth and delicious smells. When the timer finally went off, the pretzel bites emerged from the oven, puffed and golden, their surface glistening with egg wash and salt. The sight was enough to make anyone's mouth water. They were allowed to cool for a few minutes, but the wait felt like an eternity. The moment of truth arrived as one was plucked from the tray, still warm and inviting. Taking a bite was an experience in itself. The outside was slightly crisp, giving way to a soft, chewy interior that was perfectly seasoned. Each pretzel bite was a miniature celebration, reminiscent of those enjoyed at the mall, but infused with the warmth of home. As the afternoon sun continued to shine through the window, the pretzel bites were served with a variety of dips, mustard, cheese sauce, and even a sweet cinnamon sugar mixture for those with a sweet tooth. Each bite was savored, a testament to the joy of creating something delicious from scratch. The kitchen, once just a space for cooking, had transformed into a hub of laughter and satisfaction, filled with the warmth of homemade treats and the delight of sharing them with loved ones. Making Auntie Anne's pretzel bites with a bread machine had not just been a cooking endeavor. It had been a delightful journey that filled the home with love and joy.